Hi, we're back. This is Monica Weitzel on Community Hotline at MetroEast Community Media. And with me tonight I have Holly Chamov, who is the Executive Director of Parkinson's Resources of Oregon. Thanks for being here, Holly.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm very happy to have you here. Now, Parkinson's Resources of Oregon, what aspect of Parkinson's do you focus on there? Is it research? Is it support? Is it, what do you do?
It's an excellent question. So we actually take up where the medical community leaves off.
Okay.
So if you were a person with Parkinson's disease, we very much would want to be reinforcing your relationship with your neurologist or your physician.
Okay.
And we don't do research, but we're all about everything else that happens with Parkinson's disease.
And there's a lot.
And there is a lot.
Yeah.
And it's really about helping our clients and their families maximize their quality of life while living with chronic disease.
Right, and it's a tough disease. It's a tough disease. It's a hard one to live with. So I know a lot of people know what Parkinson's is, maybe from some of the famous people that have it, like Michael J. Fox or Brian Grant, especially us Portland Trailblazer fans, but it affects people at different ages, it affects people in different ways and in different progressions. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but
it's an irony of the disease, is as you get worse, you're progressing.
So
it would be nice if there were a different way to say that.
So what kinds of things do you do to help the families and the people who have Parkinson's?
So we started as an organization as a support group, so peer-led groups, and we coordinate about 65 support groups throughout Oregon that are people who have an interest in Parkinson's because either they have it or a family member, and we provide training and administrative support so that there's opportunities for a really safe and confidential way to talk to someone else and gain that experience. And those groups meet monthly for the most part throughout the state. We run a helpline, so we get folks that call us and talk to any one of our staff or volunteers if they want a referral for a neurologist or they need an exercise program. Maybe they're concerned about long-term care and where's the money going to come from. So we can help them find those resources back into the community.
That's reassuring.
It is. And we take over 100 calls a month on our helpline. Wow. And really, it is, people are always surprised that when they call us, there's not a clock that starts ticking when we answer the phone. That is one of the things in our office. If someone's live on the phone, you are undivided.
You take as much time as you need to deal with that.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, now how are you supported then? How does the Parkinson's Resource Group get its funding? Or is that it?
So we are all privately funded.
You are,
and so we do 2 fundraisers a year in the spring and in the fall. We have our gala coming up, Celebrate Hope, in May, and then in the fall we do a series of awareness walks, and that accounts for about 2/3 of our budget, and then individual gifts is the balance.
So the gala that's coming up, that's Friday, May 18th at the Convention Center.
Yeah.
What can people expect at that?
So this is our 3rd year with the gala, and it's a cocktail hour with a silent auction. There's some amazing things this year in the auction, and then a seated dinner and a live auction.
Oh, nice.
And we are pretty much done around 9:30.
Okay.
So it's a nice evening.
If people are interested, they can go to your website and get information on that?
Right. They can go to our website, parkinsonsresources.org, or to the gala site directly, which is progala.org. P-R-O-Gala.
Parkinson's Resources.
Exactly.
Okay. And I want to talk, we have a video we want to show, and I don't want to forget that, but the walks that you do, did you used to do just one a year, and now it's several?
This is going to be our 8th year, and we started with just one.
Because I went on the Parkinson's walk with my daughter one year, It was along the waterfront down in Southwest.
On the Willamette Park,
yeah. It was really nice. And unfortunately, it seemed to always coincide with another walk that we do for another organization. But if you have several of them now that I could do that again.
Yeah, so we have Portland, Vancouver, Eugene, and Medford this year.
Okay.
And you're right, there are so few windows of good weather in
There
Portland
are.
that everyone walks the same day.
I know, it's true, it's true. So the one in Portland, do you know when that's going to be?
I want to say it's September 23rd.
Okay, well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
It's right around my birthday. I could celebrate by
There
going
you
on a
go.
walk.
There you
Okay,
go.
you know, you did provide us with a video, and we're not going to show the whole thing, but we're going to show a little bit of it.
Good.
Kind of gives a kind of good idea about what Parkinson's is
Okay.
all about. So maybe we can take a look at that now.
Thank you.
Sure.
Parkinson's it's a really complex disease, and it's different for every family. Our job is to help families continue doing what they want to do, continue pursuing their dreams.
Parkinson's slowly takes certain things away from you. Is you don't get to decide whether you're going through a divorce. You don't get to decide whether one of your kids is messed up. You don't get to decide whether your dog just, all that other stuff still happens. But you still have to deal with the fact that you have Parkinson's too.
I bawled like a baby and went to bed for about a week and then decided, well, you're gonna get up and live the rest of your life, or you're gonna lay here. I got up.
Shock and disbelief. I mean, it was kind of a very surreal moment. I mean, I was like, my dad was diagnosed 7 months before I was. I was drafted by the Colorado Rockies. I played catcher for most of my big league career and my minor league career.
I have been humbled by this experience. I mean, I had to match kind of where I saw my life going versus where his life was going versus where I wanted us to go.
We certainly are working with more and more young people with Parkinson's, folks who have young children, teenage children, still in the workforce. It is more difficult when you're working with someone whose life situation so closely mirrors yours.
The fear came and is that I don't want to tell anybody at work. My fear is that with the current economic conditions the way they are, it would give my employer just a reason to end my employment. It's a secret that I'm hanging on to.
People hide this disease. Young people especially don't let other folks know what's going on. They'll try to subtly hide the symptoms to the point where the whole world knows.
You called the helpline at Pro, and Holly called me at Pro and said, can you go out with Lori and get together?
I just remember getting somebody on the line and just bursting out crying.
And it was like a lifesaver for me because life was really busy and I was really struggling.
It's just been such a blessing to, have you guys in my life, and I feel like it's just the beginning.
I sometimes know that we may not know each other ever in real life, but you're there when we need you.
Our get-together is a time where we can have our feelings and emotions be the center of attention.
This looks really good.
Yeah, drink. I really needed to get together with you guys. It's been too long.
Yeah.
Trial by fire. You rule Parkinson's, Don't stop doing the things that you're doing. And love's the sweetest taste.
I'm going to embrace this. Hang on, we're going for a nickel ride.
And I pray it lifts us higher.
Eventually, I'd like to have a cure for Parkinson's, but let's just worry about tomorrow first.
One safe place, yeah.
Don't do it alone. Try to get out there and meet people.
Get up every day.
I have been humbled by this
Go about your business and
experience.
just try to be a dad and try to be a husband and try to be a good person.
Our purpose is far more than just us and our life.
Oh, I'm so grateful for getting up in the morning, having another whole day.
I'm grateful for being here right now, taking
Still have
a
a lot
breath.
to give, and they don't need to isolate themselves.
Keep smiling.
Laugh.
I have a great life.
I'm dad with the shaky hand. Parkinson's, that's what it is when your hand shakes, right? Yeah.
I mean, what happens tomorrow? What's the next adventure?
They're really awesome people. They're living with a long-term disease
Gracefully.
I'm grateful just to be alive.
I could be dead, but I'm alive, man. I'm alive, I'm here, and I'm breathing. Across sand and sky and gravel, we're looking for one safe place.
Wow, that was pretty powerful, Holly.
Yeah.
And I know, I told you my mother has Parkinson's, and she is my hero. And you know, seeing her struggle with it is really hard. And so I'm really grateful that, you know, somebody like you, and that Parkinson's Resources of Oregon is there. I recently got a kit from
wear and tear.
Yes, and that's great. It was, and Mom just recently got out of the hospital. I wish I'd gotten a little sooner, but it's you have some great resources, and I'm just starting to find out about them. So I'm hoping that other people who have family members who have Parkinson's or who have it themselves will, you know, avail themselves of your website, start there and find out everything you have to offer. One of the things that I heard about was the wellness classes. What can you tell me about that?
So one of the things that happens with Parkinson's, as the disease progresses, it's harder and harder for people to get out into the community.
Yes.
And some of the symptoms are sometimes embarrassing for people, so they tend to become very isolated. And
like that person who said, when you were talking about how they try to hide it till pretty soon everybody knows.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, hands in the pocket, holding your wrist to keep the tremor from people noticing. But with our wellness classes, we started with just exercise classes 10 years ago that were just for people with Parkinson's. And what we discovered was that if you felt safe in that environment, then people were coming out and participating and getting exercise that they weren't otherwise getting. And those exercise classes almost became their own little support groups. They became families for people over time. Now, luckily in our community, there are exercise classes, many, many more than just the ones we offer that are specific for people with Parkinson's. And so we refer people to whatever is most convenient in their community.
That's great.
And then I do want to mention also here on the east side at Russellville, we have a group called the Tremble Clefs, which is a choir.
The Tremble Clefs.
The Tremble Clefs.
That's cute.
And it's a singing group for folks because the vocal ability gets impacted many times with Parkinson's. And singing is a great way to exercise and to keep the voice strong. And we work with music therapists and music therapy interns to run this program with us.
You know, Parkinson's is a funny disease. I know my mother sometimes has trouble speaking, but she can read just fine. I mean, read out loud.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, sometimes she can't talk very well, but she'll read something, Parkinson's Resources of Oregon. And, you know, it's just it's a funny thing.
It is a funny thing, and I really wish I understood what was going on in the brain.
Yeah.
Why sometimes it works to take a step, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, sometimes you freeze up. Sometimes you just get up and go.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a very baffling disease and very frustrating, but it's good to know that there's help there. So you said the east side, so there's 2 locations.
So our main office right now is in Lake Oswego. It's where our staff works out of, although we've just opened an office in Eugene just a month ago. So we now have a social worker working out of our office in Eugene for people.
Oh, good.
And then also this winter we started an East Side outreach program, and so we're out at Lambert House, which is at 170th and Division. So our social worker is out at Lambert House several times a month, seeing clients on the East Side as well, trying to help people access what we do in their own communities.
Great, that's great. Now what else, we only have like a minute left, so what else do we need to know about Parkinson's Resources of Oregon?
That we are always going to be there for people.
I like that.
You know, it's easier, you asked what do we do, I find it's easier sometimes to say what we don't do. What we don't do. We don't do clinical care and we don't do research. We support both of those, and we support both of those avidly. But we need to take you and your mom, and we're just, you know, you brought her up, you know, what are those needs in your family, and then help you and your family really address those needs and come to some good solutions for you.
How great to know that you're there for us.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much, Holly, for being on tonight. If you're interested in finding out more about Parkinson's Resources of Oregon, about going to the gala, about the wellness classes, anything that we've talked about tonight or more, please go to their website and check it out. I appreciate you joining us tonight. My name is Monica Weitzel. You're watching Community Hotline. We'll see you next week.